Welcome back, folks, to FlashPoint Weekend Update. So the biggest news this week was probably the release of 2 new maps to the Frontline game mode on the Sandbox server. And it's not even that big. It's like 1.2 kilometer by 1.2 kilometer or 1.4 by 1.4. And that's it. So it's not like the 9 kilometer square map, the gigantic map where you have to traverse through the landscape. And yeah. So basically a larger, slightly larger random battle mode with 30 players versus 30 players. And that's it. So I thought it was boring, not as innovative as the original Frontline mode, so whatever. But here are some facts about the 9.19 test server that you probably already know. So Sisterhood of Steel now works with the male counterpart, the Brothers in Arms. So originally you have to have all female crews or all male crews to have the 5% bonus to the crew skills. Now it's diversified, so you can have your female crews with your male crews as long as they have 100% trained Brothers in Arms or Sisterhood of Steel, so the little fist thing. So that's pretty neat because now you can have like not all the female crews for a vehicle in order for it to work, but basically the benefit of female crews is that the original skill, the Sisterhood of Steel, the little fist, costs nothing. It's a 0 skill or 0% skill. It doesn't count towards your skill level, so it doesn't increase exponentially for the next new skill on the list. So this also applies to the Berlin Quartet or as well as the new Thunderbolt 7. So you can get those pay to win skill crew, the 0 skill crew, quote unquote. So small detail, but yeah, it's pretty neat. So you can train your crews without having to mix and match. So pretty nice. Also the Panther 7 got a new skin compared to the VK7201K. We already talked about this, but the Panzer Kampfwagen now looks like a elephant with the boxes at the back. It's not a hit marker, so there is nothing there for the collision model, but it looks like an elephant. Whereas the VK7201K has dreads because the spare track links. So Bob Marley tank. Alright, but you probably already saw these, so let's move on. So ranked battle mode cycle 1 season or 1 stage. I got a crate. So the crate contains some decent stuff. You can sell all these premium consumables for credits, so that's pretty nice. That's like what, 200,000 credits, right? So one of these will cost 10,000 credits. That's 200,000 credits plus the credit bonus, plus the 500 gold, plus the personal reserves, and the stipend of bonds for you to use. So pretty sweet. And it's only 100 bond, so it's not like 1,000 bond where you can get the OPS equipment right away. So it will take a few rounds or a few stages of ranked battle mode in order to earn enough bonds for the super OPS equipments. So hopefully that balances it out, but it's still in the testing phases, so who knows. But you also receive additional rewards per stage of the chevron, so you do earn a little bit more credits, yada yada, and personal reserves as well. So blah. Also, I took this screenshot of another person's 3rd stage win, so they receive a little bit more bonds. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically all the random stuff, RNG based rewards are pretty nice, but it's random, so everybody could have gotten like, I don't know, 1,500 gold. I don't know how the full list works, so who knows, but RNG. Also, let's talk about the Frontline game mode. So this is the Mini Frontline. This is the 1.4, I believe, or 1.2, but it's pretty boring. I mean, there's a town at the bottom as well as a town at the top. So there's a small town, there's a gigantic hill, and yeah, it's basically a random battle mode with 30 players versus 30 players. So 60 players total on a slightly bigger map. So clusterfuck. There's no repair station, so cannot abuse it, and you have to travel across the entire landscape in a slow ass T25, but it got buffed, so it's no longer slow. Alright, fine. In a mouse, it's still a little bit slow, I guess, but yeah, the T95 was like 13 kilometers per hour top speed. It can hardly reach it, like usually 10 kilometers per hour top speed, so now it's 20. A lot better, but still feels boring. This map is boring to me, so whatever. The second map is a little bit more interesting. It's the Grand Canyon. I don't know what the name is, whatever, but it's more three-dimensional because there is a giant crevasse, a giant abyss in the middle. So here you can see on the mini-map, there's actually players down there fighting for the capture circle. So you can see there are players down there. I was on the top, so I don't really care. But yeah, it's a little bit more three-dimensional with different layers or different levels of combat. So slightly more interesting, but still it's 30 versus 30. Clusterfuck. Whatever. So finally, we also have the full line of Chinese tank destroyers released. So they released the Tier 9 and the Tier 10, as well as one of the Tier 8. So, yep. Basically taking medium tanks or heavy tanks or light tanks and shoving a superstructure with a large gun onto it. And there you go. That's a tank destroyer. So the usual Russian guns, the 122, the 130, the 152. Some of them has the 100mm, so blah blah blah. I mean, these are all fake tanks, so presumably no freaking blueprints or artistic rendering of blueprints, not exactly original engineered blueprints from the factory floor, so not specific. But I mean, we do have Japanese heavy tanks, we do have other fake vehicles, so it's no different. Not really that different. So is it really that interesting? Well, in my honest opinion, these vehicles are a little bit more interesting than vehicles like the WZ-111 5A, which is the Tier 10 version of the WZ-111. So you already have that kind of vehicle at Tier 9, the WZ-111 1-4 with 130. Now it's just basically a lot better DPM, 10 degrees of gun depression, slightly better horsepower per ton ratio, and better turret armor. And that's it. Not that interesting. It's basically a copy, like a T54 or T62, like a copy of a copy of a copy. At least these vehicles have a superstructure. I mean, what if, right? But I would like to see the Chiri tank destroyer, like the Japanese tank destroyer, which is gigantic box-shaped TDs with somewhat decent armor, but they look like Ferdinands. But yeah, these tank destroyers, I mean, it's all ISU clones across the map, or ISU 152, ISU 122s, or the SU 122-54, SU 122-44. So yeah, basically that's the whole line. Taking a heavy tank, taking a medium tank, and shoving a superstructure onto it. And there you go. So this week was slow. Been databasing mostly, so I was bored. Tried to do all the updates for all the vehicles in the game. So Tank Inspector is not updated anymore, so the developers lack the fundings, so therefore you cannot see the average values of the new vehicles and their stats compared to original tanks of the same tier. So data like average DPM, average horsepower per ton ratio, all have dramatically shifted for this year. So might as well do all the data basing for myself. So it's been slow. It's been really slow. Ugh. Crunching numbers. So finally, here is the Mosaic board. So how do you feel about the Pro League coming soon to World of Tanks? Well, basically the Grand Finals for World of Tanks, but for the scene, or for the Pro League scene in World of Tanks, I feel it's not as heavily invested for wargaming compared to games like League of Legends. Because now we get like 9 emblems and 9 inscriptions for the grand finals for $10. So that's the release of the paint, I guess. You get a little paint job, the little Wargaming League Moscow 2017. Yeah, awesome. You get 9 of those. So basically 18 of those for $10. It's small. It means nothing. Doesn't look that well or nice. So I thought it's super crap. But think about it this way. For the same amount of price, or at least the same amount of cost, you could get a new skin from League of Legends dedicated to the championship. So here are 2 skins specifically designed for the championship series or Pro League Grand Finals. So there are different skins with different animations for all the attacks and recalls and other stuff, whatever. So yeah, it costs less than the emblems and inscription. These cost about $8 in terms of riot points. That's their currency, but kind of feel cheated, right? Stupid emblems and inscriptions. Ugh. So basically the Chrysler K will be on sale. So this is a special Grand Finals tank for this year, like the Panther Bulldog, as well as the AMX 1357. So I removed the black skin with the gigantic crest or emblem thing on the hull. Thought it would look stupid. So I'll give you guys the files in the description below. So you can just copy and paste into the ResMod folder. And that's it. So I like the original skin. Looks a lot better. Also, there's a new skin for the T25 Pilot Number 1. So a lot better for this average tank. Mediocre. So yeah, I like it. It has a lot of view range. But you have to utilize that because no armor. And it's not that fast. The gun's alright. But the strength is the view range. So, yep. The Thunderbolt 7 has been released. So I saw a lot of it on the playthrough of my IKV65 alternate number 2, which is the Scion car tank destroyer. But yeah, it has the armor, but remember, it's not as fast as the Sherman EZ8. And if you face top tier vehicles, they will just punch right through. So still play hull down, still keep at a distance, don't be too ballsy. So also remember that you don't have the derp gun, the M3 derp. So you have the M1A1 76. It's the upgraded version of the 76, but or A2, I don't remember, but it doesn't have the penetration. So you don't have the speed to go flanking, but realize the armor against same tier vehicles, not against high tier vehicles, and utilize the view range to just go scout if you can. But oh well. Also, I mentioned there were 2 new skins, or just reused or recycled skins for the Panther 88 and the Revalorisé. So if you cannot wait for the Valkyria Chronicles anime tanks, you can use the skin. So nobody will be pissed at you if you use them. Oh well, in the description below. So go check it out. But finally, special thanks to patrons Ben Osborne for patronizing that's not a good word patronizing Sam for subscribing to Patreon this week. So I do keep track, and special thanks to Norwegian name Silje Berg. So he subscribed last August, and special thanks to Wolfcrumb. He subscribed last February, like a year and a half ago. So those are my patrons on Patreon. But if you cannot subscribe to that service, or whatever that thing is called, fan base service, I guess, you can always do the like button or dislike button. Just comment and watch. I don't mind, but small stuff, it's okay. So I do appreciate you guys watching, and leave the like, leave the hate. I don't really care, but that's basically it for this week. So yeah, slow week, nothing really to talk about, nothing monumentous, but yeah, the emblem thing from the grand finals really sucked in terms of marketing. I mean, $10, you can get a lot for $10, like a whole lot more. So yeah, wargaming. Just hire me as the marketing manager. I'll make the game make the game crack. I'll make the game whistle like a bell. So that's it, folks, for FlashPoint week of May 12th, 2017. So I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.